So this is my How to Be Awesome presentation. I'm Rodgers. I teach journalism at Iowa City High School for about the last 14 years. I was a journalist before that a little bit, and I got back into doing this because I love high school journalists, I love high school journalism, and it's really easy to do awesome things. And it kills me sometimes when I'm judging with some of these awesome instructors over there and everything like that, and high school programs aren't doing awesome things. So about 5 years ago, me and Matt Shaw and a few other people came up with this How to Be Awesome presentation. This is a toned down version of it, about 5.0. But I'll tweet it out too so you guys can have it, because I know all of you are going to be taking diligent notes right now. Or not. All right, number one, students, you guys amaze me. I love working with you guys. I can't wait to see what our digital media Navy SEAL team is going to do this week. John.
Hoorah!
Oh.
So, we're working on Don.
Hoorah!
All right, we'll be better. We'll be better. A lot of the Little Hawk publication I work on has won a bunch of awards, and I've read stuff like that, and other advisors and students ask me, like, how do you guys do that stuff, like, whatever. And number one, it's not me. Like, the biggest thing I did, like, 7 years ago was I told my staff, like, I care about this more than you guys do, and that's not going to work. So I give them control. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world to give students the keys to the kingdom. And you guys are teenagers and you want those keys and you want freedom and you want to be able to do stuff. But you know, with that freedom there's responsibility. But the biggest thing is you need to go back and tell Patrick or tell whoever, like, we can do this. We can run this show. We got this. I love that when I'm standing over a student or an editor's right there and they're like, Rodgers, back off. Like, I got this. I'm like, sweet, I'm just gonna sit back, drink coffee, and you guys go do awesome stuff. So I think the biggest thing on How to Be Awesome is that you guys have to, these are student publications, and you guys have to take control and make them your own. All right, I added this in there. This is my new spiel this year about media literacy, truth. I work with Flipboard and some other things a lot, and truth is hard. There's, you know, if you haven't heard, attacks on journalism and other things like that, but I think that it's really important, and I think this is a really good conversation to be having, and I encourage all of you guys to find your own truth, find your own news, do a variety of sources, be proactive in, you know, your view of the world. I know it was kind of mind-blowing to me, you know, in the past election and other things, like, people don't have the same truths as I do in the world, and that's okay. Like, we all can have different truths, but it's important for you guys to be active, especially in the digital world, to find your own truth through, like, a variety of sources, and Flipboard and other ways to do that. Flipboard has a campaign, one, defending journalism, which I think is so important, and I just wanted to read this quote from their news director, Gabriella Schwartz, who used to be CNN White House producer, and now she basically aggregates or brings together the news, or her truth, kind of in a way, for millions and millions of people every day. And she put out a blog earlier this year that said, I use the words false information intentionally. For us on Flipboard's news deck, it's not fake news, because I believe that ubiquitous term is detrimental to the plight of journalists. News is content-based in fact. Lies are the exact opposite. Therefore, you can't have fact-based lies. There is news, and then there are lies. And I think this is a strong statement from a news editor about what she does, and that if you're a journalist, those are facts. That's what you're reporting. You would not report it, and if you don't report facts, you get fired. And I think that's the code of the journalists, and everyone in the world should understand that. Now, if you want to debate truth or bias or other things like that, it gets a little more complicated. But I think that point is really important. I had a student come up to me and it's just like, is CNN fake news? And I'm like, no, they're not putting out lies. you know, they make mistakes and people get fired for it and other things like that. But I think this is a really good statement on kind of what's going on right now. All right, the New York Times also has attacked this whole truth and fake news thing. I mean, you guys see these, the Truth is Hard series by the New York Times. They're awesome, and they came out with a special edition for teenagers and kids. Did anybody read that? Read newspaper, it's like this big thing, like that, you fold it. Yeah, okay. But this is a great statement that they made about the kids want to be part of the conversations. And I know you guys aren't kids, but this is like kids and teenagers. And the biggest one, I love the last statement, that you guys can handle the truth. You want to be told what's going on. You want to be aware of the world. You want to make choices, be part of the conversation, tell your own stories. And I know that you guys in this room want to tell those stories and want to be part of the conversation and want to be part of the, hopefully, an even better world than exists right now. All right, design. I'm going to go through a few quick little hitter tips on how to be awesome. Number one, if you want to be awesome, you have to have cool designs. This was a National Magazine Cover of the Year winner. He adapted it, Jason Arnold, from a New York Times cover and made it all about how our valedictorian was not going to college and taking a gap year. And won Magazine Cover Design of the Year, and it's really cool, it's fun. You guys should strive to have powerful, cool designs that tie together not only interesting stories with photos and graphics and fonts and white space and all that stuff. I love this design. We were kind of scared. Our athletic director, Terry Coleman here, he's not exactly the friendliest camper. And we did this, and we we're like, oh my God, what's our athletic director going to think of this spread with the Q&A? We did it. We took it down there, and he was like, oh my God, I love it. Can you frame it for me, and I'll put it in my office? And I'm like, sweet, yeah. So capture people's personalities. Don't be afraid to like tell, you know, if you have a mean, kind of tough athletic director, have a mean, tough photo of them, like on the spread. Photos, Kira Zaff is one of my favorite photographers. This won National Award for Photography. She posed this in our theater. One thing we're going to work on in digital today is so many people said, oh, we have crappy photos on our website. Yeah, Joe and everybody, you got to have great photos, you got to take photos, you got to get out there, learn your camera settings, take a lot of photos. Ryan Young, who was just reporting on the John Deere Classic yesterday, pop quiz, who won the John Deere Classic golf tournament yesterday? Come on! It wasn't Zach Johnson, was it, Don?
No, just missed.
He came close, didn't get there. Anyone? Anyone?
Doesn't it make it like his championship play?
Yeah, it was his first time win. Bryson DeChambeau is the winner. But anyway, Ryan Young, my former reporter, was there covering it. He went out one day and he was writing about sports, and he said, hey, can I take a camera? And we're like, yeah, sure, take a camera. So if you've never taken a camera to an event or anything, this year I challenge all of you guys to go take a camera. And he came back and we're like, holy shit. Ryan's an amazing photographer, and he's still taking photos and loves it. And even when he's covering sporting events, he brings a camera just because he likes being down there on the field and taking photos. Reaction photos, Don and I talked about this yesterday. Reaction photos are the best, whether it's getting a bucket dumped on them or touchdowns or whatever. Capture those moments at your school. And life is too short for crappy gear. I love nice stuff. Sell ads, beg, do whatever you can to get some money. This is Ori. On the left is Ori. He has my dream job. He's a social media PR guy for TaylorMade Golf. And this is what he carries around with him on an everyday basis. And another backpack of a drone now. But then on the right is our bag that we kind of made off of their bag. And the biggest tip that I'd say is the 7200 f2.8 lens right here in the middle. That was a game changer for us. I had students going out and taking crappy photos, and they used that lens, especially in low light, crappy gym situations or things like that, and they came back with great photos. It is expensive, but it's worth it. Take a bunch of cameras, SD cards, backup batteries, you guys know the whole deal, sunglasses, hats. Localize, take issues like bullying, minorities in AP classes, racial profiling, and go ask your school, have you ever been racially profiled? Have you ever been bullied? Don't write about what's going on in Ferguson, Missouri, or wherever. Write about what's going on in your school. My favorite story that was powerful about this, two of them. One is equity in AP classes. We were like, hey guys, do we have minorities, black people, Hispanic people in our AP classes? And they're like, no, it's just a bunch of white people. We're like, well, we should probably write about that because we have 30% of our school who isn't white. And our principal was great about it. He was like, hey, this is a national problem. We should do something about it. They made a team to try and get groups of minorities in middle school to take AP classes. And they made a change. There are now more minorities in AP classes. The other great localized story is racial profiling. What's happening in Ferguson, Missouri, very serious issue, racial issues. We went around to black students at our school and be like, hey, have you ever been racially profiled? And oh my God. Have you ever been in an interview where they wouldn't talk to you? This is like the opposite. We had people coming in telling amazing stories of like sad and tragic stories of being racially profiled in our beautiful, wonderful, liberal Iowa City community that everybody thinks is so great. All right, break news. There is news that's going to happen at your school. Use the power of the internet and social media to break news about what's going on. Use video. I think, let me show a little bit of this. Oh, do I have sound? Preview for a musical. It got thousands of views and helped sell out the musical and was really powerful, well done piece. Adding multimedia and video into your piece is great. And they also used, I think, like half of the profits to go to theater programs in Ferguson, Missouri. So we teamed up with the theater department and journalism of what we're doing with racially profiling and actually made a difference in our school and also the theater department down in Ferguson, Missouri. It's okay to have a cause and do good things. Like, don't just get involved in your stories if you care about them. Have them be charity projects to help, if something wrong is happening in your community or things like that.
Things in the race when they go to these state conferences, nobody wants to talk about race, and we've always been very comfortable with it here at City High, and I offered some ideas, and I decided, these people need some help. Let's give them some help.
The student cast supports this idea and believes it is beneficial in many ways.
I think it's a really cool thing to do, just because it fosters a connection with people in Ferguson, and I think they really need that right now.
It's helping people, which is obviously one of the best things you can do.
Okay, so you get the idea. Connections, use video, take on issues, localize. Long-form stories. You can design amazing things on the internet as well. If you ever haven't checked out Snowfall by the New York Times, it's an amazing piece. Create a podcasting studio. Podcasting is trending, it's huge right now. We brought in musicians. If you have a band at your school or singers, they do the NPR Tiny Desk Studios. And I'll tell you what, it was a game changer. There would be people walking by in the hallway and be like, oh my God, why are they playing rock and roll music in the journalism room? And it just totally changed our whole atmosphere. We try and do it every Friday. Having a place where you can record music, talk about politics, talk about sports, talk about other things, can be an amazingly dynamic place inside your newsroom, at your school. And I say newsroom, it's not a classroom, it's a newsroom. Don't be afraid to brand yourself. If you're the Nerd Tears is my favorite kind of fun branding guy. Kevin McCarthy, he's a movie reviewer. I heard him speak out in Washington, D.C. He writes movie reviews and interviews all these famous actors and does all this great stuff, but his website is nerdtears.com. If you're going to be the movie review person at your school, everybody should know that Don is the movie review guy. It's okay for you to be the personality behind your blog or your area of expertise or other things like that. And everybody should have a blog of some kind. Here are the student blogs that we created when we were trying to have student voice in our classrooms. Nerd Nook is video games, Cinefun, it's a movie review. There's edible endeavors, there's food, Guardians. A lot of people last night when we were having our rant session were saying that it was hard to get people working in class. This is a great way. You can always work on your blog in class if you're having trouble. Do not do geometry in journalism. Like, journalism is the most important class. Geometry, are you kidding? It's for building bridges. Like, you're never gonna use that. All right, Snapchat. Use social media, use Snapchat, connect, tell stories, follow real reporters on Snapchat, the New York Times, so you guys get an idea of how real reporters are using it. TweetDeck and list, find your truth, create your sources, find your writers, find your publications so that you can have your worldview that has a variety and hopefully it's balanced and accurate of like what's going on. If you don't know how to do a TweetDeck or whatever, come talk to me, or one of the Dig Media Navy SEALs should be able to teach you as well too. And you can also just follow like Hawkeye Sports or NBA basketball or fun things or fashion. Not all journalism has to be serious, life-changing Twitter rants with the president. All right, Instagram. Instagram's really trending. It's really something that gets a lot of views. If you don't have an Instagram account on your publication, you should have one. You can do video, you can do Snapchat like stories, you can have contests. It's an amazing place for so many things. Run web contests. This is our cutest couple contest. We do it every Valentine's Day, it gets thousands of views, and we give away 2 nice dinners to a nice restaurant in Iowa City if they're still dating by the time it happens. And wireless mics, get mics, use mics with your phones and your cameras. And the main thing is that go be awesome. Take charge of your programs. Try something new. We were really pushing our Dig Media Navy SEALs yesterday to brand, like, it's okay to fail. Try something new, get out there. Do something that you've never done and go back and be awesome with your programs and take charge of them. And please tweet at me or let us know what you guys are doing. And I hope everybody has a great week.